it is a planned murder, sir.
A very good morning. You're watching NewsX and I'm Shivani Singh. We're getting breaking news at this hour. A United Airlines flight that left Chicago's O'Hare International Airport was diverted due to an unruly passenger. The US-bound flight to Minneapolis was forced to divert after a passenger allegedly attempted to breach the cockpit and hijack the aircraft. During the incident, the aircraft transmitted squawk code 7500, which is the international emergency code used to indicate a hijacking. United Flight 2005 landed in Madison, Wisconsin. Let me go across to my colleague Brian Thomas, who's joining us for more details on this front. Brian, this is a hijack scare that was on this United Airlines flight. Take us through the details of what happened.
Shivani, clearly a major security scare unfolded aboard a United Airlines flight that was traveling from Chicago to Minneapolis after the aircraft reportedly transmitted squawk code 7500. This is this international emergency signal that is used to indicate a possible hijacking situation, and this took place on United Airlines flight to 2005, which was operating from Chicago to the Minneapolis when an onboard emergency was declared. And according to what we are getting from the initial reports, a passenger also allegedly attempted to breach the cockpit area, triggering immediate security protocols inside the aircraft. Then, following the alert, the flight was diverted to Madison, Wisconsin, where law enforcement agencies and airport security teams were placed on high alert ahead of the aircraft's landing. And now officials say the suspect was taken into custody immediately after the plane landed. As of now, no injuries to passengers or crew members have been reported so far. And this squawk code 7500 is also considered one of the most serious aviation emergency signals and is specifically used by pilots to silently alert air traffic control about a hijacking or any kind of unlawful interference on board. Yes.
All right, viewers. Brian, I'll request you to please stay on with us. Let's have a look at the diversion of the flight. We'll take you through the flight route and how, when the emergency cropped up, the flight was in fact diverted. So on your screens right now is the flight path that the flight UA 2005 had taken. Remember that they started off from Chicago and it was scheduled to go towards Minneapolis over here. So this was in fact the route that they would be following if they were on a normal path. However, when this emergency in fact started off, I will show you the exact flight path, how the flight actually started. Then if you can see on your screens, the flight started moving towards Minneapolis, which was its desired destination. However, when this unruly passenger attempted to breach the cockpit, attempted to enter the cockpit, what happened was the pilots actually raised this alarm, this emergency squawk code of 7500. And as you can see over here, this is where the diversion actually takes place, and this is how the flight then actually moves towards Madison. They were heading towards Minneapolis when they saw that there is a safety issue, an emergency. They put out that squawk code 7500 and immediately they in fact took a turn towards Madison, which is almost 90-degree turn. As you can see on your screens right now, this is the flight path, this is where it was diverted, and you can see that aircraft making this turn towards Madison. This was the closest runway that they could get to over here. This is Madison, and that's where they in fact landed. So this entire diversion took place when the flight took off from Chicago, and later on it landed over here in Madison. So this is the flight path that we've got for you, in fact, viewers. So you can see now the entire flight path. It's from Chicago over here, and then it turns to Madison. So this is how the flight diversion route looks like. It was in fact supposed to fly towards Minneapolis. However, it took a diversion turn, and this is how the diversion looks like on your screens, viewers. Let me in fact rope in Captain Surjit Panesar, who's an aviation expert who's joining us on the broadcast. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out your time and for speaking to NewsX. We appreciate it. Captain Panesar, if I can firstly ask you about this emergency squawk code of 7500, what it is, and then what your observations are regarding this particular incident on the United Airlines flight, sir.
Well, ma'am, let me tell you, these are the emergency signals 7500, 7700. They have just one button press. The signal goes to many ATC controllers, and they advise them and the steps to be taken. I have been to Chicago a number of times. I find the security at Chicago is very, very strict. They even tell you to remove your belt and shoes and everything. How it all happened and how that it is yet to be known how this aircraft was diverted and the one circumstances were diverted. That only the inquiry will tell, and I hope everybody is safe on the flight and no serious untoward incident has taken place. But security in Chicago is very, very tough, and how it has happened, it has yet to be known how it all has happened. And I'm grateful to God if everybody is safe after landing at that place.
Right, Captain Panesar, I also want to understand in situations like this, when the pilot has to, put out or send out this emergency code, what is the standard operating procedure on the ground? What does the ATC do in such kind of situations, sir?
Ma'am, ATC tries to advise the pilot to land at the nearest airport safely, and then inform all the security agents, police agencies and all that to take the necessary steps on the hijacking and any other emergency as per the signal. So their job is to inform all the agencies to be alert and all that the aircraft is landing at that place, and they arrange all the security arrangements for the restoration of passenger or any incident that takes place on landing. These are emergency signals 7500, 7700. So after this button is pressed, the signal goes to all the ATC and they take the necessary precautions receiving this signal. Pilot use this signal only in the most emergency situation. It is not a normal ATC signal which he talks on.
Right.
Even if by mistake he presses it, even then the agencies get alerted and all.
All right. Thank you so much, Captain Panesar, for your valuable perspective on this issue. In fact, in an update, a Dane County Regional Airport spokesperson has confirmed that the unruly passenger was detained and handcuffed on the flight by off-duty officers. Federal authorities are now taking over the proceedings. So this is the latest update that we are in fact getting for you on this front. Airport authorities have confirmed that the passenger was detained. My colleague Brian is with us on the broadcast. Brian, I want to understand from your updates, this passenger has been in fact detained by the airport authorities, and they are saying that there were off-duty officers on the plane that confirmed handcuffing him. Now the proceedings will be taken over by federal authorities.
Shivani, clearly yes, as of now the flight was also obviously diverted, and then law enforcement agencies, airport security teams were placed on high alert. Yes, clearly the passenger who was responsible for this, rather the culprit, has been detained now, and now it will be handed over to the federal agencies. And earlier also there were visuals of him being handcuffed and taken to the custody, and officials also say that the suspect was immediately taken into custody after the plane landed safely. And as of now, even fortunately, there have been no injuries to passengers or crew members have been reported so far. So clearly, U.S. federal authorities, including airport security, the aviation agencies, have also launched an investigation into the incident to determine the motive of the suspect and whether the cockpit breach attempt posed a direct threat to the flight. And very importantly, this also kind of triggered a heightened aviation security concerns, though authorities confirmed the situation was brought under control without any harm to passengers. Yes.
Please do stay on with us, Brian. We have some more information flowing our way. The Dane County Sheriff's Office has responded after a flight was diverted to the Dane County Regional Airport following an incident. The Sheriff's Office has informed that there are no injuries or threat to the general public stemming from the incident. Online flight logs show a United Boeing 737-900 series aircraft which is configured to carry around 179 passengers took off from Chicago's O'Hare Airport bound for Minneapolis but diverted to Madison. So Brian, obviously now we are getting an update from the Dane County Sheriff's Office as well. They have also released a statement that there were no injuries or threats because of this hijacking scare that occurred on a United Airlines flight.
Yeah, clearly Dane County Sheriff's official can confirm that law enforcement teams immediately responded after the flight was diverted to Madison following reports of the unruling passenger and a possible cockpit breach attempt. The aircraft landed safely at the Dane County Regional Airport where officers, their personnel and airport security surrounded the plane, and sources familiar with the response also said that the passenger was restrained on board before landing and later taken into custody without further incident. And air traffic control audio indicated that law enforcement officers on board the aircraft had also helped subdue the suspect before the diversion landing. And meanwhile, there were witnesses' accounts. Aviation monitoring groups claimed the situation involved a level 4 cockpit security threat, referring to an alleged attempt to breach the flight deck. Yes.
Right, Brian, and like you were pointing out, there is a lot of, in fact, statements that have come on social media as well. United Airlines has also released a statement and they had said that the aircraft landed safely to address a security concern with an unruly passengers. So this is the statement that we are getting from the United Airlines as well, Brian.
Yes, clearly, as of now, United Airlines have also obviously given a statement about it. And if we talk about the eyewitnesses, they shared, they noticed a commotion near the front section of the aircraft before cabin crew and onboard personnel intervened. Some passengers also claimed the man allegedly tried to move towards the cockpit area, after which crew members and law enforcement personnel on board quickly restrained him. There were posts shared by passengers and aviation trackers on social media said the aircraft was met by multiple police vehicles immediately after landing in Madison. One passenger even wrote on their platforms that the officers boarded the plane and escorted a suspect off the aircraft in handcuffs, while remaining passengers stayed seated during a security sweep. And like you mentioned, yes, United Airlines also confirmed diversion happened due to a security concern involving an unruling passenger. The airline also stated that the flight landed safely and no injuries were reported among passengers or crew. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Brian, for all those updates. We're now moving forward to some national